It's always a tragedy when someone dies young. As larger than life as celebrities seem at times, we're reminded that they are just like every one of us when death comes for them, especially at a very young age. No amount of money or fame can save them. In this episode of The Five, we're gonna look at 5 black celebrities that left us too soon. Hi, my name is Jared and welcome to The Five, where we share 5 interesting things in black culture and society in every episode. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you can get notified when we release new videos. The first celebrity on our list is Tupac. For those of us who grew up in the 90s, realizing that Tupac was only 25 when he passed away was shocking. His larger-than-life persona and impressive collection of works made it feel like he was around way longer than he was. Tupac, a name that was given to him at age 1 after being changed, bursted into the music scene in 1991. He released 4 studio albums between 1991 and 1996 and had 6 post-death albums, the most recent one being released in 2006. Before his untimely death, Tupac was shot during a robbery in 1994. That incident intensified the East Coast-West Coast rivalries that had the biggest rap stars, Tupac and Biggie, exchanging diss tracks. Tupac's deadly shooting took place in Las Vegas on September 7, 1996. He was transported to a local hospital where he was put on life support before his passing on September 13th.
Rap star Tupac Shakur died last night after a brief life in a rough business. He was 25.
Since his death, Tupac's legend has only grown stronger. There are several conspiracy theories that allege the rapper is still alive or that his death was in the hands of the CIA. Several documentaries, articles, books have been released regarding the death of Tupac, but the case is still considered unsolved. At number 2, Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Lisa Left Eye Lopez was not just a rapper but a creative force behind TLC, having been a songwriter, singer, and record producer for the group. She also had a huge part in designing the group's outfits and crafting their overall image. Lisa was born and raised in Philadelphia and came from a musical family. She formed the Lopez Kids with her 2 siblings just at the age of 10. They sang gospel songs at local events and churches. Lisa later on moved to Atlanta to form the group TLC. They dropped their first album in 1992, which produced 4 hit singles and sold 6 million copies worldwide. TLC's biggest selling album was Crazy Sexy Cool, which sold a staggering 23 million copies worldwide. Lisa was in Honduras organizing charity work in April of 2002 when a car accident took her life. She was driving a rented SUV and swerved slightly to avoid oncoming traffic when she lost control. The car rolled over several times and she was thrown out of the car.
We begin tonight with tragic news of a life cut short. TLC band member Lisa Left Eye Lopez was killed last night in a car crash in Central America. It happened in Honduras. Authorities say she lost control of a rented SUV she was driving. They also say 7 other people in the car were injured.
Lisa was only 30 at the time of her passing. Her funeral was held in Georgia and attended by thousands. At number 3, Otis Redding. The soul singer is undoubtedly one of the greatest voices in American popular music history. Otis was born in 1941 and started his entertainment career at age 15, when he joined Little Richard's backing band, the Upsetters. His first single, These Arms of Mine, was released in 1962. His first album, Pain in My Heart, was released 2 years later. Otis toured the southern United States, making appearances at a string of venues that were open to African American entertainers during the era of racial segregation. He later on toured in other parts of the country and Europe. Otis gained much success both artistically and financially. In 1967, Otis and his band were traveling in Otis's private plane to perform at various venues in the Midwest. Despite the poor weather and multiple warnings, the plane flew to their next destination in Madison. The plane crashed into Lake Monona, just a few miles from their landing field. Band member Ben Cauley was the only survivor, and the exact cause of death of the crash was unknown. James Brown wrote in his autobiography, The Godfather of Soul, that he had warned Otis not to fly in the plane. Otis's body was recovered the next day in the lake. He was only 26. Otis's hit, Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay, was released after his passing. It became his only single to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and the first after-death #1 single in the US chart history. Kanye and Jay-Z famously sampled Otis's version of Try a Little Tenderness on their hit single Otis. Number 4, Aaliyah. The death of the Princess of R&B shocked the nation back in 2001. Aaliyah died at the tender age of only 22. Aaliyah first gained national recognition when she appeared on Star Search at 10 years old, and she was only 12 when she signed with Jive Records. Aaliyah released 3 studio albums and appeared in 2 feature films. On August 25, 2001, Aaliyah was traveling in a light aircraft in the Bahamas after filming the music video for Rock the Boat. Aaliyah's original flight was scheduled the following day, but she and her entourage wanted to leave one day earlier after completing the music video shoot sooner than expected. According to an eyewitness, the pilot of the charter flight had warned them that the small plane was overloaded and it would not be a safe flight, but the passenger insisted that they had to be in Miami that day. Their plane crashed shortly after takeoff about 200 feet from the end of the runway. Aaliyah and 8 others on the aircraft were killed.
The plane, just after taking off for Florida in perfect weather, suddenly plummeted to the ground. Investigators now saying one of the engines apparently failed. Along with 8 passengers, Aaliyah, a young Brooklyn native and a talented singer and actress.
Aaliyah's funeral was held on August 31, 2001 in Manhattan. After the service, 22 white doves were released for each year of her life. And at number 5, if you mention Tupac, of course you have to mention Biggie. This legendary East Coast rapper lost his life to a shooting at the age of only 24. Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, Biggie signed with Bad Boy Records in 1993. His debut album, Ready to Die, included his massive hit Juicy and Big Papa. He won Billboard Music Awards Rapper of the Year in 1995. The mid-90s also saw Biggie getting embroiled in the escalating East Coast-West Coast hip-hop feud. He was one of the suspects for Tupac's deadly shooting in 1996. It was only a year later when Biggie himself lost his life to a drive-by shooting while visiting Los Angeles. His second album, Life After Death, was released 2 weeks later.
Hi, I'm Serena Alcho with an MTV News special report. Rapper Chris Wallace, better known as Notorious B.I.G., was shot and killed in Los Angeles early Sunday morning. He had apparently just left a Vibe magazine party at the Peterson Automotive Museum on Wilshire Boulevard and was in his green Suburban when he was gunned down in a drive-by shooting at 12:04 a.m. Pacific time. Biggie was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center by a citizen where he was pronounced dead. The rapper, who came from Brooklyn, New York, was just 24 years old.
Like Tupac's shooting, Biggie's shooting also remains unsolved. The deaths of these 2 friends turned rivals will always be intertwined and a source of various conspiracy theories. Biggie was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2020. That's it for this episode of The Five. We'll be back with another episode in Black culture and society.